He originally decided just to continue with his regular programming. He then realised that everybody outside of his little bubble of people who he hangs around with weren't just fuming, but were basically just calling for the end of his career. He released a public apology on Twitter first, which was fairly interesting, as it definitely seemed like something he was forced into, and that was pretty apparent by the fact that it came across like he'd put no thought into it at all. And this originally brings on the biggest problem I have with apology videos, is the fact that an apology video in itself seems like a key to getting out of jail with no consequences. It doesn't matter what you've done, and it doesn't matter who you are. YouTubers who have come out after wild sexual assault allegations have just done a quick little tweet, or a twit longer, or a very, very short YouTube apology video. I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all. And the people who already love him eat it up. He's realised that what he did was wrong. He didn't mean to do that horrific thing that he's done, because he acknowledged that he did it. Which kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it. But the fact that acknowledging your mistakes is almost good enough for people to just say, oh well, fair enough, just leave him be. It's time that our foot is put down.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, Alex. You really hit the nail on the head. It is time we start putting our foot down, because half-assed apologies really aren't good enough. But Alex can't even give one of those. Today we'll find out where the internet sensation continues to make false allegations. Shocker, I know. But this person we're talking about today isn't an influencer, isn't a big YouTuber, so Alex was probably banking on the fact that you guys would never find out about it. Because even as Slazo himself will rightfully point out in my upcoming interview with him, it's a common tactic Alex uses.
With Alex, I think his usual response to these kind of things is to kind of don't respond to it. Usually it goes away.
Oh, can you smell the delicious irony of a man who made a name for himself and continues to criticize others for a living, like me, but he can't even bring himself to apologize to people he has wronged. To Alex, as long as he thinks he can get away with it, he will avoid apologizing at all costs. So Alex went on True Geordie's Christmas podcast and slated my now manager, Christian Stuart, in front of over 1.3 million people with zero evidence, no facts at all, simply because he heard a rumour and decided to run his mouth again and nearly screwed over Christian's business that he has been building in this space for years. But somehow Alex still hasn't learnt his lesson from Slazo. You would think nearly ruining a man's life with false accusations would be a huge kick up the arse. Seems not. So in the clip I'm about to show you, Alex is talking about Christian Stuart. He is the director of Colossal Influence. It's an influencer marketing agency that helps creators like myself to find brand deals. They take a little cut because they help to actually get the brand deals. So in the UK, there was an MMA event run for influencers that was ran by a company named Fame MMA. Christian, being a talent agent, was used by Fame MMA to reach out to influencers to see if they wanted to fight. He was a freelancer who just got a cut. He wasn't paid by Fame MMA. He got a cut like he would if he negotiated me a brand deal. I can personally confirm this was Christian's only job because he reached out to me to get a fight. We tried to arrange a fight. However, we couldn't reach an agreement. That was his job. That was it. So the event moves forward in England and it is a massive flop. And at the time, there were rumors that influencers who fought weren't getting paid. Now, this makes big news behind the scenes in the UK because a lot of creators were reached out to fight on this event. So a lot of people knew about this event and suddenly everyone's hearing that these people aren't getting paid even though they have fought. People were looking for someone to point the finger at because this event was essentially trying to scam the creators. Now, anyone with half a brain realize it's Fame MMA's responsibility, the people who are actually running the event, to pay the fighters. But there were no actual names associated with this scam until ImAllexx goes on True Geordie's Christmas podcast and makes Christian out to be the reason he didn't get involved in the event and the guy who was essentially scamming all these creators.
My issue wasn't like actually fighting Kavos. That wasn't the problem. It was the fact that it was like arranged by the bloke who arranged it.
Christian Stuart.
Christian Stuart is full of shit. So I knew, that's why we didn't do it. He is. He is.
Look, it's something we've said behind closed doors.
ImAllexx talking the most shit while claiming another man is full of shit. You honestly can't actually write this. How can you be so dumb to think that a talent manager is the one who has to pay all these fighters? This was uploaded on Christmas Day, this True Geordie podcast, and Christian explains the aftermath of what Alex said when he went on Jack Mate's Happy Hour podcast.
He said that he didn't want to get involved because I was full of shit. Now, that podcast is going out to several 100,000 people on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So Christmas evening, when I'm watching it and sitting there, I've had a message and I didn't really know what it was about. And then I start getting messages from people saying, you're a fraud, you need to quit the industry, get out.
On Christmas Day?
On Christmas Day. At Christmas night, when everyone's asleep, and I'm sitting in the corner watching the podcast, lonely, because I love the podcast, and I watched the podcast, and I was like, shit. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But then Will said it's nothing that we haven't spoken about behind closed doors, which is a comment that I would still love him to justify, because I'm fully aware, having worked with a number of creators who I've become friends with, I would have classed us as friends.
Yeah.
People have told me what has been said about me behind my back.
Yeah.
None of it is true.
Yeah.
None of it is true. And it is painful to me as somebody that sees themselves as so genuine and I know that's a bit egotistical, but I know how I work.
Yeah.
I will drop my percentage to 0 if it benefits a creator because they can't get on a roll. I will do that without thinking.
Yeah.
And then people turn around saying that I'm some sort of kingpin that's conning people out of money. And then just general Joe Blogs was messaging me saying I got a death threat. I got told to kill myself several times. It was just... and that really piled on me at that point. That wasn't a particularly nice time.
And you have to understand, in an industry such as being a talent manager, influencer marketing, your reputation is everything. If you get accused of scamming multiple influencers like Christian did, who the hell would work with you? You could kiss your career goodbye.
And to that point, I was kind of going up,
Yeah.
and then that hit, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm at 0 again.
Yeah.
And it was an emotional, sad time.
Christian's name was getting dragged through the mud.
I was sitting there on Christmas Day thinking, I'm a nice guy. My whole world's crumbling around me.
Yeah.
Because of an event that I had no control over.
So Christian contacted Alex and told him to fix what he said and ultimately make an apology.
So Alex kind of apologized?
So I messaged him and I said, you're wrong. And I was pretty stern in what I said. I said to him, you need to address this now.
And would you believe me if I told you from Christmas Day to now, Alex still has not said sorry to Christian. After Christian contacted Alex to rectify his mistakes, Alex went on his second channel he hadn't uploaded on for months. It was a dead channel.
So he goes onto his defunct second channel and he puts out a video that reaches 40,000 people.
I didn't even know he had a second channel.
Yeah. It was his podcast channel, and then he switched it, and then there hadn't been a video on there for a couple of months, and then he put this video up. It was seen by 40,000 people.
To hide it from his main fan base, only got 50,000 views compared to the 1.3 million people that watched him say that on True Geordie's podcast. But get ready to see probably the biggest joke of an apology I think I've ever seen.
I actually want to talk about the MMA briefly, because I spoke about it on the True Geordie podcast, which I did again. I don't think I even necessarily know if I even shared that necessarily, but if you haven't seen it, there's the True Geordie podcast. And one of the things that we talked about on there was the MMA, because the MMA was mental. There was so much stuff going on around the MMA, stuff to do with being asked to fight and all of that crazy mental stuff that I would die, and I don't want to. I want to do more podcast episodes in 2019, although that may be contrary to popular belief. But there's a lot of drama around the MMA as well. Oh, of course there would be, same with the boxing. One of the things I wanted to quickly say is that if you did watch the True Geordie podcast, there's a big difference between Fame MMA, the people who were running the boxing, and Christian Stuart, who was the guy who manages the talent and asked me if I wanted to fight, so on and so forth. Because there was a lot of rumours about the fact that people weren't getting paid. And that's obviously not good, because you don't want to get the shit kicked out of you and not got paid for it. But that was all stuff that came from the Fame MMA side of it, and Fame MMA and Christian are not the same thing. So I wouldn't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form at that, just to basically get out of the way and explain it so people don't misdirect anything like that. Because those fights and fighters who were started rumours about the fact that they didn't know if they were necessarily even going to get paid for any of it.
Even for Alex, this is downright pathetic, right? This is offensively bad. Where is the sorry or an actual apology? All we are watching him doing in that clip is try and weasel his way around admitting his mistake. He was clearly trying to hide it from anyone finding out so that he would avoid getting criticized for it because he knows he f***ed up.
I wouldn't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form at that.
Alex, you are the only reason anyone got confused.
Christian Stuart is full of shit, so I know that's why I didn't do it. He is. I wouldn't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form at that.
You're the one who spread the false claims and involved Christian's name into the narrative. How does he have the audacity to think he can flip it like that? Christian said on Jackmate's podcast that the apology, he didn't obviously find it good enough. Who would? But because of all the mental stress he was caused by all of this, and Alex being a bigger YouTuber, he couldn't be bothered to fight it.
Why were you okay with him doing that? Because it's like when somebody call out somebody as like a pedo on the front page of a newspaper, and then the correction is on page 17 at the bottom.
I wasn't willing for my mental health to take it any further.
Let's remind ourselves, what is it again Alex said at the start of this video about apology videos?
Kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it. But the fact that acknowledging your mistakes is almost good enough for people to just say, oh well, fair enough, just leave him be. It's time that our foot is put down.
So what does that make you, Alex, when you can't even acknowledge your own mistakes?
I wouldn't want people to get confused.
And worst of all, you still haven't, and Christian is owed an apology from you. And like you said from your own mouth, it wouldn't mean shit because we're forcing you to.
Kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it.
However, Christian, as a talent manager in a business where reputation is everything, he is owed that from you. He deserves his name to be properly cleared by the man who caused him personally and his business so much grief. So can I get you guys to join in with a hashtag #ApologizeAlex on Twitter? Tweet that out. Let us see if we can get Christian the apology he deserves. Christian is one of the most genuine guys I've worked with in this industry. And if you watch that full episode of Jackmate's Happy Hour podcast with Christian, you'll fully understand how much of a genuine guy he is and got screwed over by Alex. And I know for a fact these false rumors that have been spread still upset and affect him because they've never truly been taken away by Alex. But while we're at it, let's talk about other situations that show Alex to be the rampant, dangerous liar that he is. The Perez Hilton incident. Now, regardless of your feelings on Perez Hilton, I don't know too much about him. I know people just don't like him in general, but Alex hops in a video and insinuates that the man is a pedo because Perez, who has been a gossip reporter all his life, is reporting on Charli D'Amelio, the world's biggest TikTok star. Shout out to my boy Comment Cop, who made a great video who summarizes this perfectly.
Charli posted a video today in a bikini dancing to that song. I can't take big dick, but I'll suck on it. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I think it's inappropriate for a 15-year-old to be dancing in a bikini like that to that song.
This man, who you see in this video, is attacking Charli D'Amelio, another TikToker who's 15. And he's attacking her because she went to the beach.
And yes, we're talking Charli D'Amelio.
And yes, I'm obsessed over a 15-year-old girl. Does that upset you? Does that weird you out? Well, unlucky, I'm going to keep on doing it. Because that's what somebody would do, wouldn't they? You know, if a police go, oh mate, maybe you shouldn't hang around schools. You don't go, hey, back at the school again. You stay away. Well, how do I go in from there? How do I start? With a prison sentence? Maybe. I'm just suggesting it. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. For 25 years to life. Yeah, that's a real video, by the way. That's him reacting to some, like, bloke gyrating and dancing like an adult again. Where's his parents at? Oh, well, Perez is making a video, with his shirt off, duetting a kid. That's what he's doing. With his shirt off,
duetting a kid. That's what he's doing. It doesn't mean that you're any less weird for having an obsession over this 15-year-old's life, especially when you yourself are posting these very sexual videos involving like 20-year-old kids. Like 20-year-old kids. Like 20-year-old kids.
Did Alex apologise to Perez Hilton for this? Of course he didn't. Perez Hilton is generally a disliked figure, so people weren't pressuring him to dislike because apparently you can go around and insinuate people are pedos for doing the exact same job as you and that you have done in the past, Alex, because you yourself have also reported on 15-year-old girls. There's nothing wrong with it. I've talked about people like Lil Tay. It's the way you handle it, but you're allowed to report on big stars. It's even more hilarious because Alex, the hypocrite who has no spine or backbone, had the exact same opinion as Perez only a year prior to Danielle Cohen.
He made a video saying, oh, she's too sexy, so her parents should be ashamed. And yeah, there's weird stuff posted on TikTok, but wearing a bathing suit, that's what people wear to the beach. If you go to a beach, you'll probably see loads of people of all ages wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, you look a little like an 18-year-old girl in this picture.
But she's not an 18-year-old girl, is she? So she shouldn't be posting like stuff online. Just me?
I think Charlie's a sweet girl and talented. My real issue is with her parents.
And it's not Danny's fault. And she shouldn't be the one who gets the blame. You shouldn't hate Danny Cohen. That's ridiculous. But the mum, feel free to put all the blame on her. She's a responsible adult.
Why'd the dad and the mom leave that video up? I would have made my daughter take it down.
She shouldn't be trying to encourage this behaviour, which currently is all she's doing.
So again, Alex hasn't said sorry to Perez. Now with the Slazo situation, I have some knowledge that has never been made public, as far as I'm aware, about Alex's apology to Slazo. If you don't know, if you haven't caught up about Alex, I suggest you watch my previous videos to really get the full context. But Alex pushed false sexual assault allegations on one of his own friends that turned out to be false. When the claims were proven to be false, Alex doubled down on them.
I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all.
And it took him weeks, almost a month, to make an apology. This was Alex's public apology. You'd think with all these paragraphs, the word sorry would make it in there somewhere. Not at all. Alex couldn't even muster up the words I'm sorry when he almost ruined another man's life. Then on top of this awful apology, he went on True Geordie's podcast again and attempted to shift all the blame and claim he was peer pressured into backstabbing and making false claims about his friend.
The stuff that happened with me, it wasn't just like, oh, my mate got accused of some really terrible things and then like confronted him. It was like, no, 20 other full-time YouTubers went, if you don't go this way, we all think it's this way.
Yeah.
They go, you know, like you've got to really join in on this side. Like this is the way that it's like, this is the way you think it's going to go. And you're not thinking it going, oh man, there's a lot to gain from this. Nobody's ever thinking that. But it's one of those things where when you suddenly have like 20 people call you up, it's like a terrifying experience.
So let's get on to what isn't currently public knowledge. We all know Alex apologized to Slazo in private. From my upcoming interview I did with Slazo, I learned that it was in fact Colossal is Crazy who set up the call between Slazo and ImAllexx. He claimed to apologize to you privately. So in your eye, was it sincere to you?
It felt sincere at the time. Obviously, I can't jump inside the man's head, but it felt sincere. And
you were with Colossal when that happened, right?
Yeah, I was. Colossal arranged the call.
He arranged the call for it to happen. But Colossal is Crazy himself told me Alex had to be pushed into apologizing to Slazo twice before he did it. And the way it was explained to me was Colossal firstly went to Alex and demanded he apologize to Slazo. He was extremely mad, and Alex says that he will apologize, but no apology is given. Colossal then goes and asks Alex why he hasn't apologized to Slazo, but as it happens, Shay, the girl who initially made the accusations against Slazo, says that she was going to make a response video to Slazo when he cleared his name and was saying that other victims of Slazo were going to come forward. Shay never makes a response video. New victims never come forward because, as we all know to this day, the accusations accusations against Slazo are false. So even when Alex knew he was wrong, after saying he would apologize, he held out, crossed his fingers and prayed that his friend was this horrible person that he falsely accused him of being. After that, Clown goes back to Alex and demands he apologizes again, puts Slazo on the phone with Alex, where after being pressured twice, Alex finally apologizes to Slazo. So Christian hasn't got an apology. Perez Hilton never got an apology. Slazo, it took over 3 weeks to get a public apology. He had to be pressured into apologizing to Slazo twice. And if you remember Zaptai, whose allegations Alex handled again dreadfully, Alex has still not apologized or even acknowledged his poor handling of that situation. Are we starting to notice a pattern here with Alex? I hope so. I hope you level-minded people can see Alex thinks he can get away with anything. Alex thinks that he is untouchable. With this most recent case that came to light, we can clearly see he's done his best to try and hide this, put it under the carpet, sweep it under the rug. And you know what the punchline to this whole video is? This man still makes a video criticizing other people, judging other people, when he himself is quite possibly one of the worst people on this platform and one of the most dangerous people, considering how many people's lives he's almost flipped upside down. So hashtag apologize to Alex on Twitter. And another thing I want to say, any UK YouTubers, any influencers who actually hold Alex accountable, because he really does need to be held accountable, massive respect. And I want everyone who watches this video to see any UK influencers who tweet out about this. If they do, I don't have high hopes, because the UK generally shield Alex, make him out to be this lovable guy who's harmless, either because they're too scared to call him out or they make money off him. E-boys. In the UK's eyes, Alex can do no wrong. He's had collabs with the biggest UK creators. People generally in the UK don't hold him accountable to his actions. So anyone I see who tweets out this hashtag, massive respect. Even just you guys, the viewers, big creators alike, huge respect to you guys for actually wanting to hold someone accountable who's nearly ruined multiple people's lives, unapologetically too. Now, as you guys know, I have an upcoming interview with Slazo. I will be uploading that tomorrow on this channel. Leave a like if you want to see that interview. It's a long interview. I didn't want to add it onto this video because it would stretch out the length of the video, and some people just want to watch the interview, some people just want to watch this video. That's perfectly fine. Tomorrow it's coming out. The wait is very short. Slazo reveals everything. I ask him a lot of questions about the Alex situation. Please like this video now if you support this. Like it up, comment in the comments below, comment what you think about Alex, even the hashtag. Just support this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. My Twitter, we are 100 followers of 100,000 Twitter followers. If you guys would follow my Twitter at KavosYT, that would be amazing. The best place to reach out to me as well. My Instagram, Kavos.yt. If you want to hit me up there, I reply to a lot of my DMs regarding videos and ideas. So you want to message me on your opinion on a video or just anything, hit up my Instagram. And yeah, thank you for watching. Until next time, fuck off.